Answer on this one should be D. Answer on this one is C. Answer is D. Answer on this one is D. Pick a number from 1 to 20. The winning numbers today are 1, 5, 9, 12, and 20. The objective today is to simplify complex numbers. Example 1. You have I plus 2 over I plus 3, and all of that plus I minus 1 over I plus 2. So we're going to have to add these together. There's two different ways you could go about this. The first way is to simplify each fraction separately and then see what you can do to add the two together. Or you can treat them both as fractions that need common denominators, add them together, and then simplify the final answer. So what we will do is this. We'll start off by finding a common denominator. And in this case, I plus 3, I plus 2 is going to be the common denominator. In other words, you multiply them together. So on this side, I would have to multiply the top and the bottom by I plus 2. And then on this side, multiply the top and the bottom by I plus 3. And then multiply these out to see what we come up with. On the left-hand side at the very top, and I'm talking about these two items here, if you multiply those together, you come up with I squared plus 2I plus 2I plus 4. This is a negative 1. That's a 4. So you're going to get a 3 from that. And then you'll have a 4i. So we'll have 3 plus 4i on the top. And then on the bottom, we'll come up with these two multiplied together. That would be I squared, and I'm using this as scratch area in the middle of the screen there. You would come up with I squared plus, and I have an extra, looks like a 12 there, but it's really supposed to be a 2. I guess my plus sign is off. But you're going to have I squared plus 2I plus 3I, and then plus 6. So this is a negative 1. With that is a minus, or is a plus 5. So you would have 5i. 5 plus 5i. Now what do you notice after you've done this problem so far? What do you notice? Do you notice anything? Yes, the I switch. Because in the problem it's given to you as I first, but no matter how the problem is given to you, you should write it with the A plus BI format, no matter how it's given to you. Then on the other side, we've already done the denominator, so it's 5i, or actually not 5i, but 5 plus 5i. Then on the top we have to multiply this together. And I'm using the middle as scratch area. We'll make that I squared, and then plus 3i minus I minus 3. This is a negative 1, so we'll have a minus 4, and that's a 2i. So it's a negative 4 plus 2i. From there, you can add them together. On the top, you're going to have 3 plus a negative 4, which is a negative 1. And then you'll have 4i plus 2i, which is 6i. Of course, all of that is over 5 plus 5i. We have to simplify to get the I off of the bottom, so remember the problem was negative 1 plus 6i over 5 plus 5i. What do I do now to simplify? What must I do to simplify this? Yeah, multiply the top and the bottom by 5 minus 5i. We want to create a difference of 2 squares such that the i's will cancel out. Of course, you'll be left with an I squared, which is a negative 1, so that cancels out that I as well. On the top, when you multiply together, you'll have a negative 5 plus 5i, and then plus 30i minus 30i squared. And on the bottom, you have a difference of 2 squares. So when you multiply this times this, you're going to come up with 25. And then when you multiply this by this, you'll have a minus 25i squared. The middle terms are canceling out. So remember, you have a 25 and then minus 25i squared. The I squared is a negative 1, so that makes it plus 25. So you end up with a 50 on the bottom. Now simplify the top. You're going to have a negative 1 here. That makes it a plus 30. If this is a plus 30 minus 5, you'll have a 25. And then 5i plus 30i is 35i. All of that is over 50. I can take out 5 from everything to be left with 5 plus 7i over 10 for the final answer. In this problem, it's going to be 3 plus 2i over I plus 2, and then plus 4 minus 3i over 5 minus I. Alright, so we need a common denominator here. And that's going to be I plus 2, 5 minus I for the common denominator. And there's different ways you can write this out. I'll do this a little differently than the last way. In this case, let's just make the denominator like this for now. And that's for the first one, and then here is for the second one. Now on the top over here, we have to multiply this one by 5 minus I. When we do that, we come up with 15 and then minus 3i plus 10i and then minus 2i squared, just a little bit off of the fraction bar. Then we're going to have to multiply this one by this down here. When we do that, we come up with 4i minus 3i squared plus 8 and then minus 6i. From there we can simplify a little bit. So over here on this side, we're going to have a plus 2. A plus 2 and a 15 is 17. And then minus 3i plus 10i is plus 7i. On this side, we will have a plus 3 and an 8, which is 11. 4i minus 6i is minus 2i. Now we still need our denominator. So we know that it's going to be this times this, and of course it's just reversed over here. We only have to do it once and then write it down. So I'll use this area up here as the scratch area. When I multiply these two together, I get a 5i, and then a plus I squared, and then plus 10, and then minus 2i. So that's going to give me a minus 1 and a 10, which is a 9, and then 5i minus 2i is 3i. So we need 9 plus 3i here and here. So now let's combine them into 1 to make 9 plus 3i. Yeah. Let's see. From this multiplication here, minus I squared. Yeah, that is right. So that's what we have to take to the other side, is the 28 plus 5i over 11 plus 3i. So we'll go over here with this. Alright, so we have 28 plus 5i and then 11 plus 3i. There. What must we multiply the top and the bottom by? 11 minus 3i. Alright, so on the bottom, remember that the middle terms will cancel out, so you'll have a 121 and then a minus 9i squared, which is a plus 9. Then from the top, 11 times 28, that's 280 plus 28, that should be 308. And then a minus 74i, or is that 84? 84i. And then 5i times 11 is 55i. And then you'll have a minus 15i squared. So we'll simplify this to get a 130 on the bottom. This is a plus 15. With this is 323. And then you'll have a negative 84 plus 55, which would be a negative 29i. I don't see anything else coming out. Try this one and bring it up. It is 3 plus I over 1 minus I minus 2 minus I over 3 plus I. Alright, on this we're going to need a common denominator, and that common denominator is 1 minus I and then 3 plus I. So we'll put that down to start with. Another 1 minus I, 3 plus I. Now we're going to have to multiply this by this to get the right top up here. So that would be 9 plus 3i plus 3i plus I squared. And then we're going to have to multiply this one by this to satisfy the top. And that would be 2 minus I and then minus 2i plus I squared. Now we can go back and simplify. On the top we're going to have negative 1 and 8, or negative 1 and 9 to make an 8, and then a plus 6i. And here's a minus 1 and a 2, that would make a 1. Negative I minus 2 is minus 3i. Now let's do the multiplication for the denominator in this area up here. We're going to multiply these two to get 3 plus I, and then minus 3i minus I squared. That's a plus 1, and with the 3 becomes 4. And then we'll have I minus 3i, which is minus 2i. Now we have to do some subtraction. So the denominator stays 4 minus 2i, and you're going to have to do this as a quantity. So instead of 8 and this quantity minus this, you have to think of it as 8 minus a 1, which is a 7. And then you'll have 6 minus a negative 3, which is really a 9. So that's plus 9i. Remember that the sign here changes everything inside the second parenthesis. You'll have 7 plus 9i over 4 minus 2i. What do I multiply the top and the bottom by? 4 plus 2i. So on the bottom, we're going to have a 16 and then a minus 4i squared, which is really plus 4. On the top, we'll have 28 plus 14i plus 36i, and then plus 18i squared. Of course, the bottom simplifies to 20, and we will have a negative 18 and a 28, which is a 10. And then these two make a 50i. You can take a 10 out of everything to come up with 1 plus 5i over 2.